1. Welcome everybody to the Poke Battle Network. Today we are in for a treat as we have the #1 champion giving us his final run of this 2-month Pillar Cup. And joining me today is none other than EU's top caster, Leo Konig. How are you today, Leo? Yo, come on, man. You bringing the energy to the desk. How are you today?
I appreciate you, mate. I'm doing great. I can't wait to see those battles here. I haven't played too much of the meta. I have looked at the meta, and I'm quite excited for this. We have some changes in there, like fighters being banned. So I'm quite curious to see how these trainers make that work.
Yeah, if we noticed in the earlier videos that we did on those breakdowns, we noticed that fighting typing was going to be real big here, real useful, and a lot of people solidified themselves with that Malamar, said it was one of the best that they had, and you saw it on almost everybody's team. If not that, you saw a bunch of other people trying to find that fighting aspect, but Malamar shown the best on teams here in Pillar Cup, and we have a wonderful treat. Out of those 79 Pokemon that we have Rhyblets showing us his team of 6 here in the Pallet Town PVP. And for those of you who don't know, Pallet Town PVP is one of the 4 regions right now that you can find a 5+ ranking tournament out there that'll go throughout the month. So if you are looking to up your leaderboard stacks here on the DevonCorps, this is one of those regions you want to get to. Our good friend FishOnAheater, who brings so much great content and always keeps people up to date with the DevonCorps, is hosting these tournaments, and they have an amazing staff here, one of who we're going to be watching today battling against Rhyblets, and we're going to get into those matches in just a second here, but I just have to ask, you see these metas, which Pokemon, Leo, are you feeling would have been great for you to bring in this meta? There was 79 just incredible Pokemon. Which one did you think you're like, yeah, I could bring this?
Okay, so I'm going to hit you with the most boring, outrageously standard meta answer ever, and that is Shadow Drapion. So looking at the meta, I don't know Kanto Sandslash too well, but I think there isn't a Mud Slapper on there. Annihilate is also something that has caused some problems for Shadow Drapion, and you talked about Malamar being the king of the format, so I think that Shadow Drapion could be quite the menace. It's such an easy save swap, and not only that, like if your matchup is a little bit iffy, then you can save swap it always, but if your opponent isn't 100% prepared for it, you just play 2 shields on Drapion and you win.
Yeah, Drapion's been great, especially with this new timer being 10 seconds less. You can throw those 2 Aqua Tails real quickly, get almost like 10 seconds of fast move damage, and then dip out as fast as you can with energy back on Drapion, and he gets to it so great. That's a great Pokemon, and you see it, some of the players, they knew how great. We've seen it before in all these metas. Water is just such a dominant aspect. No matter what, it's one of the quickest things to get to. It puts so much pressure down on almost everything. There were not that many Mud Slappers, if any. I didn't see Marowak in there, so I don't think they're really happy with the Mud Slappers at Devon. In the Ingot meta, they definitely banned all Mud Slappers, so I don't know if they like Mud Slappers over there.
I mean, there are like a few ground types attacks. I mean, there is Greedent for Mud Shot, which has been a little bit increased in damage. There is still Diggersby, but Diggersby is also playable with Shadow Drapion if you don't like play any even shield. But if you're having a little bit of an advantage in terms of shields or energy, Aqua Tails, you need 3 Aqua Tails plus some Poison Sting to knock out. So yeah, that's also definitely playable. That Pokemon has everything.
That Pokemon does have everything, and some battlers could go even wilder and get rid of the crunch and put Sludge Bomb on, because fairies and grass were very more dominant in this meta than the ghost typings out there. So you really didn't need to have that crunch unless you really wanted that debuff, put that pressure down. But the Sludge Bomb could have been super effective on the grass, the flyers like Jump Pluff, or the fairies like Azumarill. So it's a great utility Pokemon. In the earlier days, back in the Sylph days, you could have had Ice Fang playing with Fell Stinger and Aquatail. It was, and Crunch. It was super fun. But a lot of people have solidified themselves with the Poison Sting. Once that got up in, solidified itself as a great energy builder, a lot of battlers went straight to that. So that's a great Pokemon, sir. I'm very happy to hear you say that, because we're going to get into our first matchup now, where our boy Rhyblets will be fighting Z-Tarb, the TO of Pallet Town PVP here, helping us out. So we're really excited. A great battler in the Apex series as well. So let's go down and check out that first matchup. All right, taking a quick look at this team. As we said, both players have that Malamar. It is so great. But you see Rhyblets' team. Ryblet brought in the Ariados, the Feraligatr, the Clodsire. He's got the Azu, and he's got the Jumpluff. I would say this is pretty much core meta, because of the thickness of the Clodsire and the Azumarill, really helping out that Malamar swap out, collect energy, dip, get the opponent back so that you can reset some clocks, maybe jump back in. But he's also got that Jumpluff, which was huge. People found Jumpluff to be a great asset, because a lot of things showed up with ground and with rock. So Jumpluff played really well in this meta here.
I mean, Jumpluff is also kind of king flyer of OGL right now, or queen, if you will. But it is just so strong, especially against Malamar. Those fairy winds do add up now, especially after the buff. Super effective. All of a sudden, really high damage. I think you win like the zeros versus Malamar with like a move. You can even win the 1-0, so the matchup is really dominant, and also versus other Pokemon in the meta, it's quite strong. I think there are some decent answers to it, though. You can't swap it into a Shadow Feraligatr if it has Ice Beam. I don't know if maybe Crunch is the way to go in this meta, but I don't think so. You even said that maybe players are dropping Crunch on Drapion, so
Ice Beam was the way to go on this one, especially with when you saw how much ground and these Jumpluffs started flying around. You're like, oh, forget these dark moves. Go straight for the super effective.
Yeah, so I like the team. I like the team a lot. In fact, I could see this at any OGL tournament, honestly. This is just Ariados, Shadow Gator, Azu, Malamar, Clodsire, Jumpluff. There's just nothing to say against it.
I'm pretty sure this was the Birmingham team of teams. If you got rid of the Clodsire and put in maybe Diggersby, this would have been like the team of teams out there at Birmingham. But you see that in Z-Tarp, he did bring in the Malamar, but he also has that Diggersby that we just talked about, the Stunfisk. He's got the #1 in Miltank because of the Ice Beam, the Thunderbolts, how Rollout got boosted. He's got the Shadow Feraligatr again because they need that spam in Aquatail or in the waters. But he's got your Drapion. He's got your Drapion here.
Honestly, this would have been the team that I would have built. Like, so you have the offensive core of Shadow Gator and Shadow Drapion, which is insanely flexible. Your opponent has to be on their toes all the time. You have Diggersby and Miltank in a meta without counter users, which is completely insane as well. You said fairy types and grass types were really strong, so Fire Punch is really strong, Ice Beam as well. You can even, I think, at this point consider dropping the Body Slam from the Miltank. Makes you pace very slowly though, but I think Ice Beam plus Thunderbolt is very valuable when you check matchups like Clodsire and Azumarill at the same time, or Jumpluff, so you have a very good answer to these bulky Pokemon, so kind of a core breaker on that side. Then again, Pokemon like Shadow Gator get a lot tougher to handle because you just get outpaced so quickly, so there are definitely merits to all three attacks. You have Unova Stunfisk, which is really strong, and I think that this matchup, especially, this is a crazy core breaker when you look at this. So Jumpluff, difficult to handle, honestly. Clodsire, phenomenal. Shadow Gator, you just outpace actually, because you can go straight Mud Bomb and then you win because Thunder Shocks do damage as well. Azumarill, you're also very much fine with that. I think Malamar should be more neutral. And Ariados could actually be a little tough, but you resist those Poison Stings. So I think that Z-Tarp has a lot of play here.
Yeah, the Stunfisk came in as a big shocker for some people who weren't prepared for it. They were worried with the Diggersby. They maybe thought about the Ariados or the Clodsire. And then you see people rocket this Stunfisk, and you're just like, wait a minute. Wait, my double water team does not look good no more. You can't run Drapion double waters in this meta, or else that Stunfisk is going to wail on you. As we're going to get locked in here with Rhyblets' first team, he does bring the Ariados, Malamar, Jumpluff. That did seem to be a really strong core. You can save swap the Malamar, you can save or close with it. A lot of people felt that closing with Malamar was the way to go because you could keep those normals in the back, those that don't have any super effective fast move worry whatsoever. So he's playing that, but the Ariados, baby, like, you played it. It was so good in Pillar Cup. And then when you played it against me in OGL, I was like, yeah, it's just such a great thick Pokemon as it's going to get that Miltank. It's not going to want to see the rollouts, but you know what? Miltank doesn't really have much that really affect it. So with these super effective rollouts, that's about it. And that the supercharged damage isn't going to do that much here as it's going to be the first body slam that's going to come through.
Yep, and the incredible pacing of Miltank just provides a undebuffed body slam at this situation, which is already strong. You still need 2 to knock out, of course. The question is, do you want to maybe farm up a lot more and take 2 lunges with Miltank, or are you going to throw the body slam? Will that even knock out if you go for it now? I think debuffed, it doesn't KO, and you could have farmed up a lot more energy.
I think Ryblet knows that, and I think that's why he's taking this body slam. And immediate with the charge move, he comes in with the save swap of Malamar. Now he brings in the Drapion, but there is a lot of energy just given to Malamar. And Drapion only beats Malamar in the one shields at like a soft 514. So this is an easy flippable matchup if he knows what to do, as the first Aqua Tail is going to go through.
Aqua Tail no shield is very strong here as well. I mean, you can always let go of the first. You don't want to take a debuffed crunch. So that's why I think baiting in the beginning is not always the most optimal play. That's a lot of damage from the superpower here. Waiting a turn. No, it actually didn't wait a turn, but still, superpower now would KO. I think we have all shields in play still, so this one is likely going to get shielded. And now we're energy dry on the Malamar, but Poison Stings won't be able to farm down.
No, they won't. But Homeboy's going to let it go. Ryblet going to let this battle go. Says thank you. He's got Jumpluff in the back that can Fairy Wind down and get some damage, get some good energy. Granted, it'll take some extra damage, but we'll see if he goes with it. Yeah. He comes in. We looks like we got a little bit of lag there, but will it be enough? He knows he's probably going to take an Aqua Tail. He knows he's going to have to, so he gives up the shield. Ooh. Is he thinking it's going to be Sludge Bomb?
I like this line of play of Riblet, because there are 2 Pokemon that really threaten the Jumpluff on the team of Z-Tarp, and that are Miltank and, of course, the Shadow Drapion. And both of these are at a very low HP. Actually, Miltank might be at even half right now, so that is still a threat for the end game. But now we're in versus Diggersby, and that's a good game for Jumpluff.
Yeah, Jumpluff is, I mean, it's grass Pokemon. It doesn't want to see these fire punches, but it's a thick flyer. One of the thickest. That's why it's up there as the queen of the sky, as you said earlier. We've got another energy ball coming. Will it get shielded? This will take the Diggersby down to the red, and then maybe he comes in with the Wombo combo. No, does not come in with the Wombo combo. Does he shield this? Doesn't shield it. He's got the charge move on that Ariados, ready to go for the Miltank. He knows the fire punch takes him to the deep red, and the cow is back. Bessie's here to play.
It's still a tough one, right? Because now Body Slam definitely does knock out from that range. If you shield this, you're gonna take some rollouts. If you want to go up to it doesn't even go up to the Energy Ball. Let's see if this is gonna be shielded, because Energy Ball would get really close to knocking out. Aerial Ace wouldn't. This could be a game-changing shield. Immediately goes into the Ariados, gets the combo play there because of a rare miscount of Z-Tarp, and now is going to apply some big damage there.
Yeah, the rollout. Oh, and he gets the energy thrown, which is even bigger. Now, all of that energy on Miltank, the rollouts would have been so much better to farm down with the energy here, but there are still 3 Pokemon in the back, and they're pretty healthy. Oh my goodness. Oh my, Jumpluff's got nothing left. He's got to worry about a Diggersby, and that Drapion with the Poison Sting could take it out before it one Fairy Wind. We'll see how it plays out.
Hey, up there.
Oh,
wow, 1 HP before the tie. So Z-Tarp definitely got the W in there as well. There was a lot of pressure on that jump bluff. I liked how he played it, how he wanted to utilize the jump bluff to win that game. But Z-Tarp just had a lot of super effective damage versus jump bluff on his team.
Yeah, super effective damage. He called it right. He had the good alignment there with the cow on top of the bug at the beginning there with the rollouts. Rhyblet, though, meticulous in knowing, all right, I'm in a bad advantage. What do I need? I need to have energy. I need to know I need to have this much energy. Then I can come back in with this Pokemon and come out on top or figure it out. Like we said earlier, the tanks were going to be huge as almost every Pokemon had 1 or 4 HP left because of they soaked up all the energy. Diggersby taking those energy balls like a champ.
Yeah. I'm also gonna take back what I said about the rare miscount there, shielding the aerial ace. Z-Tarp just knew that he had enough HP on all of his Pokemon that if he gets energy balled there, the game is over. So in case he miscounted, he shielded that, and then later on knew he could take a lunge and just made sure that he had enough HP on everything to deal fast attack damage to the jump bluff, which is also a very nice win condition there. So very smartly played.
Yeah, I absolutely. Like some of these battlers, you're like, what are you doing? And then because we're so involved in this casting, that all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute, he's got 3 Pokemon. They all have about 4 to 5, and Jump Bluff is now getting to the 2. So with that Poison Sting, it was great. He threw the Diggersby out immediately to soak up the energy, and then brought in the Drapion because he knew how red that Jump Bluff was for Rhyblet. Well, we'll see how Rhyblet adjusts here in the second match. Malamar played great, soaking up all the energy. We'll see if he changes up the lead here, as it's going to be Feraligatr into Feraligatr.
Oh, welcome to CMPville here in this situation. Let's see who has the higher attack for Feraligatr. That was definitely something that really hurt my run in Birmingham, running a high... Oh, wow. Actually, Z-Tarp wins the charge attack priority here as well, and that is big. Now, what you want to do now is, I think, play the ones, actually, because...
yeah,
then you have like the least bad scenario there for your Shadow Gator.
Like, this is obviously a thought process. An immediate swaps into the Malamar to fast hack down, knowing that he can't get the magic at any time. Oh! Rhyblet, so meticulous, making the right call. He's got a charge move ready to go. He could take an Aqua Tail, putting down all of that Psywave damage before on the perfect count to throw his superpower.
But why is Z-Tarp never swapping out when that Malamar comes in? Malamar always gets such a big shield advantage there. You can immediately go into your Shadow Drapion and play that matchup with the double resisted fast attacks, or actually just resisted because there's still the poison typing in there. Goes for an Aqua Tail bait again here. Goes unshielded. Malamar is so good in this situation with the free farm down on the Shadow Feraligatr. Absolutely phenomenal superpower, is going to connect, deal a decent amount of damage, and we don't even get farmed down here. We get to another superpower.
Even double debuffed on defense. He's getting to a third superpower. Like, the immediate swap on Feraligatr is huge, and now he's got a third shield, and his opponent has none now. This is so big for Rhyblet. He's played that so well. Should have swapped out the Feraligatr immediately, but in the last matchup, Z-Tarp kept his Pokemon in, got the energy, and dipped with the charge move ready to go. Not working out for him in this one, and he's going to let this Body Slam, Thunderbolt, Body Slam go through. It is debuffed already, and he's going in for probably another lunge here just to keep debuffing the last Pokemon.
Doesn't even tickle in this situation. Lunge is going to take some more damage there onto that Miltank. There's also still Shadow Feraligatr in the back. Should be absolutely energy dry, though, but we're going to take another Body Slam. And at this point, you gotta use your shield, Rhyblets.
I would agree with you, yes, but at the same time, like, he's such a commanding lead. There's still so much health on Feraligatr. The rollouts weren't going to do anything. Fura could have farmed down a little bit more, but 3 Pokemon left. You've got the Drapion there with the charge move. Maybe he remembered the energy there. That's why he's keeping that final shield. Gonna let this go. So the Aqua Tail will take out the Ariados, and he could just bring in whatever to farm down.
the Gator is going to survive the poison stings from Shadow Dropion. You still have another shield, and you can Hydro Cannon down. So even though he hard lost the lead, basically, and that is what... Oh, wait. We actually get to another Aqua Tail. Z-Tarp is still in this. We have not counted at all.
We have not. Huge. Now it's come down to fast attacks. Is Psywave going to be good enough? Yes! Oh, my goodness. These battlers leaving us with 1 HP and dreams. Oh my god.
What is this roller coaster of emotions right there? I thought Z-Tarp had this 2-0 in the bag already, but really just coming in again with the Psywave down on the Dropion.
Yeah, it's crazy how he battles and practices with so many people, and he's always on the flash for everyone, doing those pop-up tournaments and getting the battles in and practicing and understanding what the meta is. Nothing like Drapion and Malamar are 2 meta Pokemon in the Pokemon scene right now in OGL. So clearly you know how Psywave's gonna go down. And you saw that Drapion only had like 3 HP left, so he could farm that down. Still surprised he didn't. I still got caught off by the Aqua Tail, the 3rd Aqua Tail that came out. Dropion's building energy, like you said, and putting that pressure down, and we're seeing it here. Z-Tarp playing it beautifully. But Rhyblet, I mean, the immediate swap to get all the energy. He's on top of something. He's figuring it out. He's figured out the meta so far, and it's gonna get into match 3 here. What does Rhyblet come back with in match 3?
I mean, Shadow Gator, I want to say it worked out, but it really didn't do anything. It landed 1 Hydro Cannon after non-shielding the first. You know you're going to lose charge attack priority, which is going to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
I think it was just very important that after losing CMP, he brought in Malamar and got a full farm down. Without that, I don't think that he would have had any chance in this. So I don't think that he's going to bring Shadow Feraligatr yet again, because if you're looking at the team, you don't want it on the Stunfisk. You don't want it on the... Actually, Shadow Dropion in the lead, maybe because it has Sludge Bomb and can't pace to a Crunch. But I think we're going back to the first line of 3.
The first line of 3? You think the Jumpluff, Ariados, and Malamar's coming out? Excellent. I can agree with that. I feel like Z-Tarp might throw that G-Fisk out because we haven't seen Fisk yet. But we haven't seen Clodsire either. We've only seen Malamars, and we've seen 2 things paired with Malamar that can take out the Fisk as well, with the Ariados, either Ariados paired with Jumpluff or Ariados paired with Feraligatr. As it is Drapion right into Ariados. You were right. He brings in the Ariados lead, and it's Feraligatr Malamar, no longer playing the Jumpluff.
That is interesting. I mean, Jumpluff has just such a hard time with all of these super effective charge attacks, and now Z-Tarp is playing how this matchup is supposed to be played, throwing 1 Aqua Tail, and then you throw a Crunch, but we know that he has Sludge Bomb in there, so he has to go straight Aqua Tail. Oh, swaps out immediately. This time we get Malamar on an actual target for Malamar.
Yes, this is going to be huge. This is going to play mind games with the shields too, because we've only thrown superpower from Rhyblet's side. We have not seen anything else come out, as we're going to see the first charge move of a body slam come through. This isn't debuff, so it takes it to almost half. Going to get to that second body slam there. That's about 6 rollouts, almost to 2 superpowers. It's the Ice Beam. I apologize. He got the Ice Beam in there. So now we've seen the second move finally revealed by the Cal there. Thank God he didn't bring in the Clodsire like I thought it was going to be, because that superpower is so good. Oh my God, superpower takes it out, and the rollouts aren't strong enough with the debuff. Now does he have the second, almost the 3rd superpower ready to go, but Dropion's going to take it out with those poison stings, so he's got to throw immediately.
He knows that he's going to live a Poison Sting, though, so he goes in for 1 more Psywave. Gets a shield with the debuffed superpower there. So Z-Tarp very protective of his Shadow Dropion. But, I mean, what else are you going to bring in here? How much energy is still left on the Ariados? I don't even remember. Oh, we're going in energy behind, but shields up with Shadow Feraligatr. And also, there is already chip damage on that Shadow Dropion, so we are in Hydro Cannon range.
Yeah, 1 Hydro Cannon will take out this Dropion. So the Sludge Bomb! What a call by Rhyblet to call it correct on a Sludge Bomb. That is huge. And it's the Diggersby. Both these Pokemon don't want to see these Hydro Cannons at all. And the Shadow Feraligatr is going to show why they reign on top with this Hydro Cannon.
Shadow Feraligatr is so incredibly strong. Hydro Cannon is just an incredible move. And now look at how far ahead he is, because now he's going to throw on charge deck priority. If it goes unshielded, Diggersby is gone. If it goes shielded, you give a shield back, you get some more energy back. You already have a hydro cannon stored. You're very much golden in this situation. Actually, this time utilizes the Shadow Feraligator to the maximum potential, is going to farm up. I have no idea about the counts, to another hydro cannon. Now he knows I don't need more energy. I need 2 hydro cannons.
Yes, he knows exactly what he needed. He counted it. They threw the Scorching Sand. He's got the energy on, a little energy on the Ariados in the back if he needed it. But with this Hydro Cannon, the Shadow Feraligator will take the 3rd matchup. No 1 HP in Dreams in this one, as that's going to be Rhyblets' 2nd win of the tournament, as we're going to move on. But this was a great play by Z-Tarp, really putting the pressure down. And both these battlers really having to hold on to those shields for dear life at the end there.
Yep. I'm very surprised that he brought the Shadow Gator again, because in game 2 it didn't look good. But then again, that's like part of the mind games, right? Hey, I brought this Pokemon. It didn't necessarily do all the work. You're very likely to not expect this again. But then also, if you're looking at the Pokemon that Z-Tarp brought, Shadow Feraligator doesn't necessarily have any kind of type advantage. You would rather count those Pokemon to like bad matchups, right? You have Shadow Claw that is double not super effective, or double not very effective, versus Miltank and the Diggersby. It's not very effective versus the Shadow Dropion. You're in negative matchups all around. How does this Pokemon keep getting the Ws?
That Hydro Cannon, baby. Those Community Day Hydro Cannons. If you get any starter with a Hydro Cannon, it's one of the best moves out there. Those Community Day moves, Hydro Cannon, Frenzy Plant, and Blast Burn on top of it. And let's never forget that this is a debuffed Hydro Cannon from when it was first released of Season 1 back in 2019. Like,
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is something that most people don't understand. Like, they had to debuff this move, and it is still one of the best moves in the game. So, Ryblet understanding that, and so does Z-Tarp, as they both had a great matchup here, but it will be Ryblet taking this matchup and going on to the next round. So, we're going to go check out that battle now and see how he does later down this tournament. All right, folks, we're in the next matchup here. This will be round 4. We didn't have the first 2. Both videos got corrupted, unfortunately. Ryblet took the lead, so he is 3-0 going into this. We saw the Z-Tarp matchup. This new opponent is Chewy Skinner. And I played Chewy Skinner before this matchup, and one big flaw I had, and I see it on his team, on a lot of people's team too, and we haven't talked about it yet, is this Arctibax with the new Ice Fang, getting that damage boost and the energy that it brings up now. It's such a great Pokemon in this meta, because Ice really did shine against all these grounds and against all these grass-type Pokemon. Didn't really see Flyers because Jumpluff was the Flyer, so she was the queen of the Flyers, as you see. But there were other Flyers out there that this Pokemon had done really well with. As we see some of the regular Pokemon we have already talked about. Looking at Chewy's team, Leo, with this Arctibax, what you seeing, what you like? You got your contemplating face on.
First of all, are you allowed to switch movesets between rounds?
You are no. So this tournament, this is locked in. You don't have the the moves aren't revealed, but it's a respect. You don't change it in this tournament, unlike Battle Frontier or Gym Breakers in between weeks.
So, because Dragon Breath, Arctibax would be absolutely crazy here. It would definitely force your opponent to bring that Azumarill 100% of the time, which you have great answers to in Jumpluff so-and-so, but Clodsire and, of course, the Shadow Dropion, so that would be insane. By the way, funny thing, if you have an HP-weighted Arctibax, you can completely farm down your opponent's Arctibax, because Dragon Breath deals 7 damage, as I just found out through Battle Frontier Cascade, and 22 of those deal 154 damage, which is the HP stat that the rank 1 Arctibax has, but mine has 155, so I get the full farm down and I leave with a win.
With 1 HP and a bunch of energy. That's great.
Check your Arctibaxes. Your Arctibax. Check them.
You're almost playing an X-Axin mind game here with the Noctowl being able to take on 3 Ice Punches and getting you that victory. That's great. What a great tip. Maybe Chewy's Arctibax is that way.
Yeah, IVs matter.
IVs matter, well, they never matter until they do, and tournaments, that's where they matter.
The thing is, if you go into the tournament knowing about your IVs and having like a specific tournament, they matter right from the beginning. Yeah. So that's a very huge one. Just like the Shadow for Alligator mirror match, we talked about this earlier with the charge attack priority. This is something that I can see happening here. Clodsire, of course, has issues with Feraligatr. The mirror match is a liability. Malamar also doesn't love Shadow Feraligatr. You're very much forced into playing a specific shield scenario. Ariados is good if you have it attack weighted, then you have other issues with the Pokemon. But I think, honestly, if I'm looking at Chewy Skinner, Ariados looks incredible. If it is a Sludge Bomb Clodsire, which I kind of expect now that you talked about all these grass types, Ariados is rather safe in this matchup. Drapion with Sludge Bomb as well is not a big issue for Ariados, so I can see this being a kind of a game winner for Riblet.
Yeah, this is going to be a real tough one for Chewy, but he did just play me in the round before, and I also had an Ariados, so he's already got somewhat of a feel with Ariados. Maybe he brings that in thinking he's playing against me, against Rhyblet, and doesn't understand that Rhyblet is so much better with energy and meticulous and calling leads. So he's getting a good lead here, going straight into the swap, into the Feraligatr, building up the energy. Oh my goodness, how many times did we see it in the last matchup where the opponent just lets him build the energy on the swap in, and now he's going straight for that Hydro, not even going to allow that Clodsire to get anything else.
So now we know that Arctibex is Ice Fang. Because you would never versus a Dragon Breath Arctibex safe swap the Feraligatr ever, right? And that makes Chewy Skinner's team very weak to Shadow Feraligatr safe swap. We saw this in Birmingham. If you don't lead strong into it, you're going to have some trouble when they safe swap because it just gets one Shadow Claw advantage. Now we see the matchup versus Shadow Drapion. Is it a bait or not? It is a crunch, actually. It takes out. It doesn't take out, but even better, one more Poison Sting for Chewy Skinner here is down a shield, but up a Pokemon.
People bring in and build their Pokemon however they want, and that works with their team. You saw the Sludge Bomb on Z-Tarp. We've got now the Crunch on this Shadow. He's got another debuff procced on it. Incredible. That is not what Rhyblet wants to see, but he's got 2 lunges ready to go. So if he gets the final shield, now his opponent will be out of shield, and his Azumarill will be a shield up on everything in the back.
We're trying to go for a farm down here. The attack fell already, so you're going to be able to take that Crunch easily. Crunch is going to come down here, not take out the Ariados, and you get a big farm down here. Rabbit's opponent's very slow on the swap out sometimes. He gets a lot of farm down these days. So we bring in Clodsire. There is going to be the Trailblaze. But do you know if this is a Stone Edge or a Sludge Bomb Clodsire?
I don't remember precisely what it was, because it was so long ago, but we've got another Trailblaze, boosted Trailblaze now already, and almost, this is great though for Rhyblet, because now the energy is off this Clodsire. We'll see what it is. It is Sludge Bomb. So Azu will get 1 extra bubble in, or immediate swaps into the Feraligatr, and this actually plays a lot better for Azu, because you're up a shield, and those Hydro Cannons still won't, even though it's great, won't take you to half your health. So they've Chewy's really got to rely on the Shadow Claw doing it, and he's not going to. This is very much Rhyblet in the driver's seat here, as he's going to take this play rough and drop this Feraligatr to the deep red.
Yep, and it is going to definitely put the Shadow Feraligatr into Ice Beam range if you don't even get to the bubble down. Just throwing a Hydro Cannon here immediately, but you're already in double Hydro Cannon range. So without the shield, I mean, double Hydro Cannon plus a few Shadow Claw ranges, right? Mm-hmm. So you are already up a shield, and that is going to win you the game here. Play rough is going to connect on the Shadow Feraligatr.
Yeah, great job on Chewy swapping immediately with the Clodsire so that Azu couldn't get the extra bubble, but it didn't matter. We had a shield left for Rhyblet, so he played that so well, got the shield, got what he needed, got his energy, brought in the tanky bunny, and takes the first game.
Yep, Chewy at one point didn't swap out there to give a full farm down. I don't know if the timer was maybe up. That could have been the issue, of course. But those big farm downs that Rhyblets gets getting him into the position to just close out games with those dangerous Pokemon. Ariados looked so dominating there, even though it was in the lead versus the Clodsire. He just knew, hey, I can lead Ariados every day of the week because Shadow Feraligatr as a safe swap is just so good into this team.
Yeah, and he cracked that code real early in this matchup, or in this meta with the Shadow Feraligatr. We've had 2 months now to build these teams and figure it out. And if you give this kid at least 1 week with the meta, and he takes like an hour a day to figure it out, he'll come with the #1 team and figure out how to, even in bad case scenarios, bad leads, come in with the safe swap and get that energy, as we've seen numerous amounts of times. Does Chewy bring in the Artibax? Is that the play here in this next matchup?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't see it necessarily. You have the superpower on the Malamar, which is threatening. You don't outpace it. Shadow Feraligatr is going to resist your Ice Fangs, and then you can take a Dragon Claw, easy peasy. Azumarill just hard walls it, so that's a liability. You just saw Feraligatr and Azumarill on the opposing team. You're gonna beat Claude. Claude is not the Pokemon you're worried about. You have your own Shadow Feraligatr, you have the Digger Speed, so I doubt it's coming. I also don't see the Jumpluff happening, to be honest, because there is Shadow Drapion, there is the Arctibex, and there is the Clodsire. So why would you bring Jumpluff into that? I think Arctibex is left with no targets, so that's nice team building from Riblet.
Absolutely. That's a great analysis on how that team matchup will play out. We're going to see it. As you said, the Azu's so good, and he gets the lead. It is the Artibex leading in the first matchup. What a call by Ryblet. He gets the Drapion to come in, and he's got the Feraligatr in the back. He's got the Ariados there as well. So enough targets for the Artibex in the back to not have to worry about, as the crunch is going to not do anything. I was going to ask, Azumarill seems really good now that Drapion isn't running that Sludge Bomb. Yeah. You don't have it married up with Clodsire. They don't want to swap in Clodsire because Clodsire will be big, just take up all of that Feraligatr, and Feraligatr will come out at the end of that with so much energy ready to go. As the Drapion's going to throw its first charge move, it is the crunch because it's not debuffed. He gives up the first shield early. That's incredible.
The good thing for Riblet here is Shadow Drapion is such an incredible safe swap and shows really its power because there's no real hard answers on the side of Riblet. The energy advantage is big, but Azumarill can take a lot of damage before it has to lose versus the Arctibex. So you can stay in there, soak some energy, throw a charge attack, and get a shield out and then go into Ariados. What Shuby Skinner could have done is not even throw a crunch, but he swaps out of the Shadow Drapion. And now we see a lunge immediately into the newly swapped in Pokemon, which is the Arctibex. Arctibex is trying to find a target. It is Dragon Breath.
It is Dragon Breath.
We farm up a move almost and bring in Azumarill. And now the Arctibex is just, in a tough spot, I want to say.
Should be the Icy Wind just doing what it can. Probably going to soak up energy or time as well to make the swap. And I think Ryblet's waiting for that to come, either whether they have the charge move or not. He throws the Ice Beam immediately before they can make the swap and gets it off the table. That dragon is gone, and it is the Clodsire, and it's going to have nowhere to go against this Feraligatr, as Ice Beams, not even worried about giving up the shield here. This is going to feel really good for Ryblet. He can take a breath now because it's not the Jumpluff in the back. It is the easy target for his Feraligatr.
Yeah. Hard ABB there with 2 big answers to the Azumarill, or rather if you have Crunch on Shadow Drapion, maybe not even that, but insane read from Riblet in their first game then as well, safe swapping the Shadow Feraligatr, thinking, hey, he's not going to bring the Arctibex in the first game. So that is a very, very bold call because that matchup can be punished quite quickly as Shadow Feraligatr is a little frail. Sludge Bomb connecting for half of the HP, but there is no other pressure there. And the catch Skinner undercharge.
Chubby Skinner's like, no, I might be in a bad position, but I have a second shield that you don't know about, sir. And so Ryblet's got to match that shield for shield. Luckily, this kid counts, but is he that good of counting? Because I have lost count on how many Poison Stings have come through. There's still a shield on his opponent. He's going. He's got a 1.5 ready to go. This is going to be huge. He's almost at Sludge Bomb already on his Clodsire. What will Rhyblet do? One, two.
Poison
oh! Oh my goodness.
I think in this situation, he could have honestly done what he wanted because he was one poison sting away from the Trailblaze that would have knocked out as well. But now he caught the Sludge Bomb with the 1 HP Ariados. Now goes in for the Hydro Cannon. Nice flex here from Rhyblet.
Oh my goodness. If you're Chewy too, like how do you take that hit? That was, you counted it, you calculated, you made sure everything was set, but then you knew that he needed one more Poison Sting to get to that Trailblaze, and you had to throw your energy. The pressure Rhyblet puts on with this energy, like I said, he is so good at holding back. It might not be there yet, but he knows that his opponents are going to have to be aware that he's one tap away from it.
Yeah, I found this insane going into the Arctibex with the Ariados, saying, hey, I'm going to do 4 Poison Stings here. It's going to get me insanely low, but later on I predict your Clodsire to be in there, and then I can take a Poison Sting. 2 more Dragon Breath would have knocked me out, but I can take 1 Poison Sting. So I'm very close to the Charge Attack that is going to come in handy later. If we play on and we go into a different scenario, then you won't get a lot of farm down with the next Pokemon. But this was peak management. And I think my predictions of this matchup around the Arctibex were completely false in this one.
Like, it's definitely tough. It definitely put down some great pressure. You've got your Dragon Breath too, which is amazing. But the problem here is that Ariados has literally targets for everything. Even if Clodsire is tinky enough to soak it up, none of them still want to see any charge move that Ariados is throwing. And so that's why leading it at the beginning is great, and then putting it as a closer in the back, they never see it coming. They don't expect it. And once the Arctibex is off the table, then Ariados can just have a heyday and get you into that shield position, whether you want to go up a shield or down a shield, so that your tanky boy Azu or Malamar or Claude can figure out whether or not they're going to have to take some hits or just throw the damage and have a shield in the back.
Yep. Leading Azu was kind of brave, but it was an insane read from Riblet, saying safe swapping the Shadow Feraligatr in the first game, disrespecting the Dragon Breath Arctibex in the back, saying, hey, I know that you want to bring Arctibex next game with this one, but you want to avoid it getting onto the Azumarill. So you're going to try and lead it because it has statistically the lowest chance to get met with the Azumarill. So I'm just going to also lead Azumarill and win switch with that one. That was so good.
Are we seeing same leads? Are we going to see same leads?
You know what? Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they bring in the same leads. We got Ariados right into the Drapion.
No,
it is definitely not like, that's what I love about Devon. You can think you know the meta and all that stuff, but again, battlers bringing the Pokemon with their specific movesets that they want to play with. They've got a play style, and here we go again. It's going to be the lunge. Will it get shielded? No, as the attack fall goes through. Now taking this crunch or the Aqua Tail, Ariados feeling really good.
So Chubby Skinner goes for immediate crunch here instead of Aqua Tail into crunch, which is the way to beat Ariados that are a little bit more attack weighted. And I think that is going to be the case in this meta with so many Feraligatr running around. Going crunch into Aqua Tail won't give you the big W in that matchup, but you're still going to get it very low. And I also like soft losing this matchup because now you can get energy advantage on possibly your Shadow Feraligatr in the back, which would be crucial if you bring it in now. We bring in Arctibex, and that is an issue because there is going to be the bunny.
Oh my God, and he's paired it up perfectly. What is in the back? If it's Jump Pluff in the back, that's going to be the only thing Feraligatr is going to have an issue. Rhyblets got to remember that Chubby's Feraligatr wins CAP, so it's going to really ride on the bunny here. Going to see how he plays it out. Going to go for the play rough, trying to maybe see if his opponent's going to try to swap out. Not going to make a catch, and here comes the first play rough. It is debuff from the Icy Wind, and it still gets the shield.
So also imagine there was a Shadow Feraligatr on the side of Chubby Skinner on that team. Oh, and we go into Clodsire. The debuff is being cleared now as well. This is tough to watch, honestly. There is going to be the Feraligatr is an absolute menace, shields it up because you want to preserve the HP. This Pokemon is incredibly valuable to you. Now you're almost going to bring that Clodsire into Hydro Cannon range, farms up to 2 Hydro Cannon. Whew!
Yeah, no, it's so you think you're in a good position. You get the lead, you get the soft win there, which gets you the switch knowledge of the Artibax coming out, which then you can marry up in your Azu perfectly well. Again, these Pokemon 2 ABA against the Azu, and Azu just misses everybody. Ryblet avoids everyone with this Azumarill, makes the swap, and back comes the Artibax. Wasn't able to get the extra energy. He's going to take the debuff, but you know what? I don't believe there's a shield left on Chubby now, and I think this Azu is just going to have a heyday.
Even if there was a shield, you're easily going to reach to play rough against an Artibax that is merely tickling the Azumarill, which is absolute MVP here. However, you still have to deal some more bubble damage here, so I think we're going to reach the next charge attack even. We're going to have to get there. I don't think there is any use for a shield at this point, but you can, of course, use it, but Dragonclaw wouldn't have done any single bit of damage. And I gotta say, I think that Chubby tried to... Oh, we're going for a full farm down. Is there a charge attack on the Clodsire? No.
There was energy on the Clodsire for sure, but I don't know if it was 1 or 2 taps away. No, maybe not remembering that as well. Knowing that the Azu can take all that Dragon Claw, all that Dragon Breath damage, gets the 1.5 Ice Beams. I thought it was gonna get farmed down for sure. I was like, oh my god, we're really doing this. We're really putting this pressure down again.
I think Chubby's gonna try to go for a very RPS game in the end there, saying, hey, I want you to lose the lead and safe swap the Shadow Feraligatr again so I can bring in the Artibax. But then again, if you have the Artibax on the team, and Ryblet has always brought the Azumarill without a question, you go Aqua Tail into Crunch with the Shadow Drapion, so you get the Artibax on a different Pokemon other than Azumarill, because then it is going to definitely shine. You have the Clodsire for the Azumarill, then you can't give up Switch in this lead matchup.
No, you really can't. And a lot of people found that out. Like, they were swapping out to save swap and stuff like that. And again, the beauty of Ariados here against this team is that the only thing it's really worried about, or doesn't really hit with any of its charge moves, is the Artibax. So if it's...
Yeah, Lunge is not resisted though.
Right. But, like, it doesn't... Lunge is not resisted, but it's still not going to do as much damage. Artibax is one of those tanky dragons, just like our good flyer Altaria up there. Artibax can take a hit or two, but nothing else wants to see a charge move from Ariados on his team. So keeping that in mind and having that pressure down puts even more pressure on his opponent, that bench pressure for the opponents to be like, oh, man, what can I do? This Ariados is clearing up everything, and I've got to get my Artibax or something on this Azumarill, and I just can't make it happen.
I think there are some other Pokemon that you could use to try and beat the Ariados. Jumpluff is not the worst. You have the Aerial Ace pacing. Diggersby is actually not that bad, even though you get hit by super effective Trailblaze. Fire Punch buff was huge in that matchup. So there are other ways without risking to get Azumarill on Artibax, because that is just a game over scenario. There is not a lot you can do after that. This reminds me of Noctowl versus Lickitung, or Noctowl versus Trevenant. So those matchups were as much of a pain as Artibax is with Azumarill.
Well, we saw some tough calls by Ryblet, but making it work out for him, because that Artibax was the only kind of threat he had to worry about. We never saw Malamar come out once. We always saw the Azu, and he got to play with it. We've now seen him play with almost all 6 of his Pokemon. We still haven't seen the Clodsire. Will he bring it out in the next round? We'll have to find out, as he's going into the final matchup 4-0 and trying to hold on to this tournament lead. All right, Leo, we are in our final round here, and it is the meta that does not disappoint when it comes down to team builds. We've seen a very meta team from Ryblet, except for the Ariados, and now we're getting Jello Jonas, who's bringing a couple of wild Pokemon, but some meta tanky Pokemon as well, bringing the Miltank, the Azu, the Jumpluff, and the Clodsire, very tanky Pokemon. Those were the core tanks there, talked about earlier at the beginning of this meta. You've seen it so far as they soak up, but now we're getting the Leafani with the new Community Day moves, and we see the Starmie with that new boosted Psywave. What are your thoughts with this team that Jello Jonas has brought?
First of all, I don't appreciate the Ariado Slender there. How can this Pokemon in this cup not be meta? Because there are no Steel type in this game. There is not really a Mud Slapper in there. And if you look at the meta Pokemon, like Feraligatr, Malamar, and Azumarill, and Jumpluff, Ariados just looks insane. And I can't believe that not everyone brought this Pokemon. It's just like Gym Breakers meta at the moment. There are like a few answers to Ariados, but I still bring this Pokemon every single time. It's just completely cracked. But looking at the Leafani, the Queen of Iridescent, this Pokemon seems to be very, very interesting, because if you are getting walled by Ariados, that is a tough thing to have going on for you, because this is obviously the answer to Feraligatr and to Malamar. Even though Malamar deals a lot of damage with Psywaves, X-Scissor is gonna knock you out. Azumarill is going to have like one Ice Beam is gonna be it for you, but you outpace heavily. Leaf Blade is gonna deal a lot of damage. Jumpluff Aerial Ace, Jumpluff Bulk, also a tough one, and Clodsire with Sludge Bomb is also a tough one, so I am not too sure about this Pokemon.
The Leafani, yeah, it's definitely there for the Malamar. People definitely had it for the Malamar, Feraligatr, Answer Core, but they forgot that Feraligatr could also put up the Ice Beam on it, which would take it out. So it's been it was very interesting to see people generate these grass bug Pokemon to try to answer Feraligatr or answer Malamar, because also Azu too, because where else are you getting your grass besides Jumpluff? There really wasn't much there when it came down to that in this meta. So to get a core breaker there with the Malamar Feraligatr core, that's what you saw. But this is the second month of this meta, so a lot of people already have made the adjustments going into this second month tournament, already know what they're looking for. So I could see Leafani being really fun and really good to play with at the beginning of the meta. If you do a tournament at the first 2 weeks, no one would really know it. But by the end of the meta, there would be teams. If you joined a late tournament, there would be teams or someone who knew how to adjust to the Leafani. As for the Starmie, I'm sitting here just baffled what else it could have that could make it so good, because it's Psywave, but I don't really know the full moveset of the Starmie. Do you?
I mean, in Great League you run Surf and Power Gem. I think there's Thunderbolt on there. It has Quick Attack, but that's most of the time forbidden, as it was like a move that was introduced years before I downloaded the game.
So I just pulled it up on PV Poke. It's got a ton of moves. It's one of those hidden power Pokemon, but with the new Psywave, it's good. It's got Psywave, Kick Attack, Tackle, and Water Gun. So you really little one turn moves. The charge move though are real tough, especially with the new Surf nerf, because it's got Surf, Power Gem, Ice Beam, Thunder, Psychic, Hydro Pump, and Psybeam. So really looking at 50, 55 plus on the charge moves here. So it's really tough with the Psywave having that, getting to the charge moves. But it does with Surf, and I mean, we wouldn't know what it would have. Maybe Power Gem?
It's got to be Power Gem.
Right?
You have some bugs in the meta. You pace to it. I think it's 13 for Power Gem and 12 for Surf Straight.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
It's not the slow. It has kind of a fast attack pressure with these stab Psybeam, Psywaves, which are very, very strong in this matchup as well. Only Malamar resists those. Malamar has a field day against it though. I think you win charge attack priority, so if the Surf deals some damage or you have some damage out of the previous matchup without energy disadvantage, I think Starmie can beat all the Pokemon here. What's gonna be some trouble though is Gator, because Gator has Shadow Claw, and Shadow Claw does ouchie to Starmie.
Yeah, that Shadow Claw is real big now that it's got it. Gator, once it got it, became the dominant, and then they debuffed Steel Wing, which then made Gator the #1 Hydro Cannon user out there. I'm still a fan of the Oshawott or the Samurott Fury Cutter, because Fury Cutter generates greatly, and it's got the X Scissor as well, but that wasn't available here. We've got the Gator, and we're going to get into this final matchup here. This is the final round. Both battlers are 4-0, so clearly both battlers know how to play their team, know what to expect from their opponents. We've seen Rhyblet make some amazing catches and get some great lead calls. We will see if this Clodsire Feraligatr Malamar is going to be the way to go against Jello Jonas. Malamar, again, a great closer, especially if you don't see any hard walls to it. We'll find out what they want to bring, and it's Leafani lead right into the Clodsire.
Oh, and that's not even a swap out. We play the Shadow Claw on the Leafani. That's pretty big.
Is that? That is Shadow Claw, yeah.
Poison sting damage, that's insane. We go for a Sludge Bomb. That's an easy shield, the easiest shield of my life. I wonder if we're going double Leaf Blade, try to knock it out. Oh, we catch the Miltank. Oh, but now Miltank can only farm up to Body Slam before a superpower is reached. The chip damage is so important here. Rabbit is doing so much work there by farming up a lot. You can even take 2 Body Slams, so you could theoretically go up to 100 energy and then just throw before they get to an Ice Beam.
Yeah, this is actually really good on Rhyblet, farming up, building up, and actually taking all of this damage, maybe getting the information of the second move, not yet, but getting that information and getting that down. Now, the Malamar isn't going to be a feeding frenzy for this Leafani if it comes back, which is huge. Maybe pulling out the Malamar because it's Starmie in the back. Oh, Leafani comes out first with the charge move. Will Rhyblet let it go? He's got the tons of energy, and he is gonna let it go and maybe go for the charge move here, getting the CAP. Wow, Leafani beats CMP charge. Okay.
It's so high attack. It's so high attack. And Malamar really needs to have high attack in order to get to like 123 attack, so it's not the highest attack Pokemon. But you can actually go up to a superpower in this matchup. Great counting from Jello Jonas, as well as to be expected. Takes out the Malamar here, but Malamar has done so much work, and there is still the Clodsire. Yes, you have a little bit of an energy advantage on the Leafani now, but still, Clodsire doesn't even need to throw energy. Look at this Poison Sting damage. Another catch there. I can't believe this Clodsire is gonna fire off a Sludge Bomb, but into what? What is going to answer the Sludge Bomb? Your own Clodsire, yes, followed by the Shadow Feraligatr. The trusty Gator is such a menace in this matchup.
So the Gator and Malamar came. Leafani did not match up against it, but Jello's really keeping it alive with energy. Will he soak up? Yeah, it looks like he's got a shield left. He's going to keep this Clodsire, or he wants to keep this Clodsire on the table just so that he can maybe throw the charge move, but Rhyblet's not going to let it happen. He's not going to let it farm down. He gets the final shield. This might be big. He might shield this so that he can farm down, because Leafani's in the yellow. No, gonna take the Stone Edge into the deep red, and Leafani comes back with the charge move. Will it be the shield here?
I don't think so. I think you can just farm down with the Clodsire here, get out with a move, and even a Sludge Bomb could almost be enough to take out the Clodsire. This is not going to matter. You can shield it. You can let it be. Yes, I would agree on letting this one go. Just also to see for science how much damage a Leaf Blade does, so you can adjust in your next matchup. Clodsire comes in with 10 HP, and you're going to Earthquake away all of them.
You got hit with the Sludge Bomb on a catch. Great job by Jello, knowing the catching moves. Rhyblet's probably going to take that into consideration as he adjusts from the first game, even though it was a win, understanding that his opponent's going to try to make the catch. Jello really put a lot of faith in that Leafani. So much faith in that Leafani that he didn't realize that the Clodsire could come and just wreck the day for him. With the great lead catch, right? It was great to catch the Miltank, but Miltank couldn't even get a rollout before Malamar came onto the scene to really put that pressure down. And Rhyblets played that matchup so many times. He knew what he could soak up all of those body slams before he even threw his first charge move.
Look at the teams now. Clodsire is so incredibly safe for Ryblet. This might have not even been an insane read that there is going to be the Livani in front. But I think the worst matchup you can get is Starmie, which is not unlikely to face off against you, but not a Pokemon that you always want to lead because it needs shields and it's not like debuffing or anything. But Miltank also, maybe if it has Ice Beam, could be problematic. But Clodsire just looks incredibly good. It's such a... It could even be safe swapped here.
I would say after knowing that my fellow opponent doesn't have Sludge Bomb on their Clodsire, I'd probably bring back Azu. And bring Azu. My love for it would be Ariados, Azu, Clodsire here. Just to, again, you have those big save swaps in the back. We still don't know what the Miltank is running as its second move, but we know what Clodsire has. We know that we've just put so much pressure down on our own Clodsire that Jumpluff or Azu's going to have to come out. Leafani might take a backseat. He might swap out for Starmie, but I can't read the opponent properly like that. I'm not the world champion Ryblet here. He'll have to make the call, but I really like closing out or putting as a save swap in the back the Azu for the next matchup.
Yeah, I think for my liking, there's a little bit too much grass types and maybe also like a Thunderbolt on the Miltank, because if Miltank has Thunderbolt, it wins the zeros hard. True. To get out with, I think, a Body Slam after taking out the Azu on charge attack priority. So that's like a big liability. Also, we've seen Miltank in the last matchup, but if it has Ice Beam, you're hard countering it. So yeah, I'm quite curious to see how they play it. I like Claude as a safe swap or a lead to first switch.
Yeah. Ryblet knows his team. Ryblet's playing against Jello. He needs one more win to go 5-0. You are right. Clodsire lead comes in, and it's the same team he brought. Doesn't even want to change it up. Brings in, wow, even with the Sludge Bomb, swapped out the Clodsire, brought in the Feraligatr, maybe even trying to draw out the Leafani. Not even going to allow Azu to get that chip or put the shield pressure down. Going to go straight for the Hydro and chip this Azu down. This will play definitely later in the matchups. Is he going to go for the second one? No. We're up to about 9. Azu is loaded, and there's the Leafani. Yeah, I don't know why Jello didn't throw anything, but maybe he doesn't have a Clodsire answer in the back. This will be big as a Hydro Cannon, more than half the health of Leafani. It doesn't even need to go to lose all the energy on the Ice Beam now, can just straight Hydro Cannon down.
Yep, and I think maybe he swapped out the Clodsire to bait out the Leafani here in this matchup. Get rid of a shield or deal some damage with a Hydro Cannon, and then later on swap in immediately when the timer is still down and just farm down the Leafani too. Because otherwise I just don't see why you would not play out the matchup versus Azu. But I think just getting Leafani out and getting a Clodsire in to farm it down, it's very, very solid play here. Oh, Ice Beam combo play on the Azumarill. I think that's worth shielding at this point, but maybe you also want to win with the Malamar. Getting Azumarill out with Malamar in the back is very, very valuable. That's why I was also surprised to see that he swapped it out, because getting Azumarill on Malamar, it's kind of painful.
Yeah, I actually... I thought it was interesting that we built up all that energy and didn't throw on the Feraligatr to force the shield or get the damage down. But, I mean, knowing that it's Clodsire in the back, 2 shield Malamar, sir. This is what the meta was about. A lot of battlers brought this kind of play out as long as it was your closer. Malamar was so strong, and if it's not Jumpluff in the back, this could be huge. Oh my god, it's Jumpluff in the back! Oh no!
Yeah, this is a very, very risky play by him. Look at he predicted that there is no Jumpluff because everything on Jello Jonas' team was so weak to Sludge Bomb Clodsire. He said there isn't possibly a chance that my opponent is running 3 Pokemon that hard lose to Clodsire. But there we are.
And he had so much energy, 2 foul plays, bringing the Jumpluff to the deep yellow. We're going to get the final shield here. This should be the Aerial Ace? Or the Energy Ball. Will he get the debuff? No debuff. That's big.
and reaches the foul play before it gets to another charge attack. I think there's only the Livani left in the tank for Jello Jonas. Does this have any residual energy? There's also the very low Azumarill that was swapped out previously. Can you race to a charge attack? Because I think anything that Livani has would knock out. No, gets farmed down immediately. 2-shield Malamar goes on a rampage through the team. Do we get to a move with the Azumarill? Nope, the superpower is going to connect, taking out Azumarill at a very, very red HP, and that is GG for Rhyblets.
Superpower, super effective for Azu? What? That is, I mean, a great call by Jello to bring in the Jumpluff in the back, but gave way too much energy to a 2-shielded Malamar that Jumpluff could not handle. Really shocked again. They didn't throw the charge move against the Feraligatr at the beginning there when they had built up for 2 charge moves, maybe even 2 Ice Beams, which would have forced a shield and changed that game differently for that Leaf 80 and for the Malamar in the back. But very same team, same lineup. Ryblet knew what he needed to do and meticulously ended up pulling out the W. This was an incredible play.
What a menace and what a disrespect from Jello Jonas to the Clodsire of Ryblet, bringing Azumarill, Livani, and the Jumpluff versus Clodsire. That is a very, very bold line. Ryblet tried to adjust mid-game, thinking there can't be a Jumpluff in there. Jumpluff got it close, arguably, but the match was really good, but it's not good enough. If the energy ball goes shielded, you are in a world of pain. Yeah.
And he didn't get the debuff either. Remember, if that Malamar had been debuffed, those Fairy Winds, those Shadow Claws will be hugely affecting it. But here we go. Same lineup brings in the Feraligatr, those sideways, putting in that damage. Look at what Shadow Claw's doing. There's a surf built up now, and it's the Azu. Save swap Azu. This is where Azu should be for Jello's team. And this is great. 2 Hydro Cannons ready to go on Ryblet.
So Jello Jonas farmed up a lot of energy. I expected him to go out after 10 Psywaves, just so that the Shadow Feraligatr can't force a shield here at all versus the Starmie. But I think that Ryblet was thinking, hey, my opponent is going to swap out into Azumarill, and if I farm up a lot here and not throw at 5, I can flip the switch later on as well. And I'm maybe not pulling a shield, but I don't have to get my Clodsire onto the Starmie, and that could potentially be very huge because Starmie is so strong against Clodsire. All the super effective attacks. The Hydro Cannon, we're at double Hydro Cannon. If this is not going to be shielded, the Shadow Feraligatr leaves the matchup with a Hydro Cannon. Was that a shield?
Shielded. It was a shield. He's in the deep red. He's going to let this Ice Beam go through. And so now they'll go shield for shield. Oh my goodness, it was undercharge. Throw your move. No!
He wants the farm down on the Clodsire here. So this is also something we have seen many trainers do recently because energy advantage is so valuable. Oh, this is a tough one though, because he actually gets to an Ice Beam. So this is not what you necessarily want. But saying, hey, I'm going to soft lose my matchup here, and with energy advantage in a neutral meta, I can flip everything. So the Sludge Bomb Clodsire definitely looks decent here. It's going to Earthquake the Starmie, but I do think that you kind of have to shoot your Starmie here, even if it's a Sludge Bomb, right?
You have to. You've got the energy. You're here to play. And it's immediate swaps. And Leaf 80 is here. There is a shield on the Malamar again. Malamar always finding a way to close out with a shield or 2. This was a huge play here at the Pillar Cup. One of the great strategies that we had and saw numerous amounts of times, as it's just going to farm down, basically. Give up the shield, because the X-Scissor will one-shot KO it from here. No, it's a Leaf Blade.
Wait, that was Leaf Blade? We go for another charged attack. Leaf Blade slightly. Why would you not throw the X-Scissor at this point? Are we not even playing X-Scissor on that Livani? Leaf Blade number 2 knocks out here. We get 2 Poison Stings in. Now we have 1 shield left. The Starmie is filled with energy to the brim, but we get to the Sludge Bomb, trying to go up to 2 Surf here because, of course, you need to get rid of the shield first, but the Sludge Bomb is going to take out the very, very frail Starfish Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It
1
doesn't.
HP in a dream. I believe we're at 2 surfs ready to go, right? It's 50 for surf now.
This is a knockout poison sting,
But
though.
that knockout poison sting in the back because of the shield. Rhyblets takes game 3 and sweeps the 5th round of this 5-rounder, going 5-0 in this tournament. It was a great Pillar Cup to watch and see this battler pick his team and figure out and watch these meta lineups. Like you said, Ariados is ranked 67th in PV Poke, but it should be up there at number 1 or 4 because it breaks the meta. Granted, there were some fire Pokemon that we never saw got played that could have put those bug type down. Magmortar was a fun one that people could play with. Rapidash was out there with Incinerate. No one played with those Pokemon because Feraligatr and Azumarill were there. You've got the Clodsire that gets up to Sludge Bomb or Stone Edge. So there was so much that could put that pressure down on Fires that Fires were basically benched off of teams, and these bug Pokemon could really reign terror.
I think, though, that Shadow Typhlosion or the AWAC, Alolan Marowak, could have had a lot of play in this meta. If you're looking at Clodsire, if you don't get hit by an Earthquake, or Jumpluff, or the Miltank even, if you're playing Fire Spin and Leavanny against this team, AWAC would have forced different Pokemon to come out. So very, very interesting meta there. I don't think that the fire Pokemon are necessarily to be disregarded, especially not Typhlosion as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, of course, we saw very few of them. And I mean, in OGL, we also see very, very few of them. Talonflame is, I think, the most used fire type. And then Shadow Typhlosion is right after with almost 0% usage. But
yeah.
I mean, water types are just so good in Pokemon Go. So the defensive typing, the neutral offensive typing is incredible of water. And yeah, I mean, we've seen it again. Azumarill is the divine being of Great League. Shadow Feraligatr as a safe swap without a hard answer wins everything always. Even if you bring in Leavanny afterwards, you get outpaced to the first Hydro Cannon, which deals 60%. And if you have something like a Poison Stinger, like a Clodsire or a Ariados in the back, you're going to farm down afterwards. So very, very well-built team by Riblet. And the strategy of this team, which is very similar to what OGL teams do at the moment, just worked out perfectly.
It absolutely did. That was a great analysis on the Pillar Cup there because there's really not much to say. If you have not built an Azumarill and you're a battler, are you really a battler? Because every battle will tell you from 2019, when we were only level 40, having the Azumarill in Season 1 was great. When they boosted it up to 50, you're like, oh, Azumarill's dead. Azumarill's back up and king crazy like always. It's a wonderful Pokemon, absolutely incredible here for both OGL and for a lot of Devon metas as well. So it's definitely the must build on your team out of all of these Pokemon that you see here on our line and on the other cards from the rest of the tournament. Azu is probably, if you're starting off as a battler, starting into Devon, build yourself an Azu because it's one of the best.
If you want to build an Azu, also pay, like high ranked is always, of course, very, very good with these bulky Pokemon, but try to pay some attention to the HP stat of Azumarill, because I think it wants 196 HP and it, of course, decent defense stat as well. So you live the Azumarill mirror match and then you actually survive the third player off in the mirror match with 1 HP. So you know that you can win switch if needed to.
Yeah, those are some good analysis tips there on your IVs. We've heard them all day from Leo. Thank you, Leo, for joining me today and being a part of this. It was really great having you. Hopefully you enjoyed some of this DevonCorps and Pillar Cup. I know you're out there in the EU scene, in the EUIS, their international scenes popping off. Are you excited to see some of these EU battlers show up?
Yeah, UIC is just around the corner. I can't wait for it. I mean, I'm hanging out with a lot of the German trainers, of course. I'm playing gym breakers with them. I know how hard they are preparing for the event. I also know how everyone is going crazy over the ICs, right? So all of these trainers from around the world, actually, they are just grinding on all of those practice tournaments. Everyone is just locked in at this point, 1 month before the tournament, actually. So I think people are going to cook up some stuff. But in case they haven't cooked up anything crazy, we're going to see some Shadow Feraligatr, Shadow Dropion, save swaps. It's going to be interesting for sure. Also, in San Antonio, we've already seen some meta shifts rise to occasion with the RPS backline core of Mandibuzz with Toxapex. The stuff like this will have to be countered again as well. So the meta shift for EOIC, it's going to be a very interesting one for sure.
It will be. I'm very excited to see what battlers bring out. And we're going to have our new meta, the Ingot meta, popping off in just 2 days here for February. So be on the lookout for that for your Devon Corpses. We're getting into our 4th meta of the season, which means we are halfway done with the 2nd season of DevonCorpsGG. So if you are getting your leaderboard rankings up, be sure to check out the following 4 regions that give mega tournaments. You have Pallet Town PVP, which you saw the lovely Rhyblet run through and saw amazing battlers come through. You've also got Beginners to Winners, our BTW boys. They also hold a group meta tournament for Devon Corps. You've got the SBL League for the EU battlers. Some incredible lineups pop up there for you. And you also have the Merciless League, who get about 4 to 5 rounds as well. So if you are looking to stack your leaderboard numbers up here for the Devon Corps before the season is done in July, now is the time. And those are the 4 regions you are wanting to be getting a part of in those communities. They will also be providing amazing information on credible resources for you to build and get better in the Devon Corp season as we go through. That's going to wrap it up us for here at the Poke Battle Network. Again, Leo, thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure having you and casting these Devon Corps metas.
Likewise, happy to be had here. It's a lot of fun. I mean, the teams are very, very close to the OGL teams, just with some adaptations. I like to see myself some less Annihilate. Gotta be honest. The counter downs with Rage Fist are absolutely disgusting. So it was interesting to see normal types thrive a little bit more. Miltank is a very cool Pokemon. So yeah, I was very hyped casting these battles and appreciate you.
We're very happy to have you and just provide you other Pokemon to cast, so you don't have to get stuck in a Mandibuzz casting matchup or a oh my god, Azu. We didn't see that.
Some Licky on Licky.
Oh, the Licky on Licky. Oh my goodness. Ugh. But
so
yeah,
I love Azumuros because then you can see the IVs of the trainers.
True.
That's always a little bit interesting.
Yeah. That is true, and you like that
I
too.
don't love Azumuros.
No, but
I don't love them, but
you get to see the IV play, how important IVs can play when it comes down to those mirror matchups sometime. Yeah. That being said, thank you again for joining us. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel, as we're going to be giving you more in-God information coming up on this February. We are having a live stream with Rhyblet himself and Brown Baller. We'll be talking about core picks of the meta coming up for the month of February, and we'll have tournaments and some first looks. Thank you all for watching the Poke Battle Network. I'm Sosa Flow, and like always, keep on battling.